I'd like you just to sit back and take a few deep breaths. In with the breath, out through the mouth. And just relax, and whatever you're thinking that you have to do after this presentation, let it go, and let's be present here together in this amazing virtual Zoom room. Thinking about visualizing the light surrounding us all, protecting us all, bringing peace to our hearts and our minds and our spirits. Today's presentation that I thought of was, who heals the healer? Who do we go to when we are in need? Here we are sitting together through all of these classes that it's presentations and classes that you've been attending. And when you leave and you go and you be of service to people that are calling you to come and help them, who do you go to? What do you do? What do we do when we're in need of help? So I have a poem. If you'd like to pull up the poem on the PowerPoint presentation, I appreciate that. That I found it, I thought was very beautiful. Who heals the healer? Who understands that even with her healing hands, she's only human after all? And as a human, she can fall for bugs and bumps and pains and aches, and as a human makes mistakes, and busy making others better, forget these things are about to get her. Through her do powers intercede to get to work on those in need. Through her they pass to cure so much with just her presence and her touch. But can't they stop and can't they see when she herself is not pain-free? It somehow seems to be unfair that she who gives out so much care from sources by whatever name cannot expect to get the same. We've heard about mysterious ways, but some things always will amaze. And after all, the spin is spun. Who heals the healer? Anyone. Terry Donovan, 2004. So that's an opening poem for us to remember. If you'll go to the next screen, please. So who are the healers? We are the healers, we know that. Clergy, laity, social workers, first responders, spiritual care providers. And so for many people who are on the healing path, the question is not if we are called to serve in the middle of a crisis, but rather when such a call comes in, how do we show up? Mark Twain once said, "The physician who knows only medicine knows not medicine." You go to next. To be a skillful healer, James M. Duffy is a doctor researcher who wrote an article called "The 4 Pillars of an Integral Healer." So to be a skillful healer, he indicates compassion, wisdom, competence, and self-cultivation are the 4 pillars. You go to the next. He writes that the 4 pillars of an integral healer, and what we mean by integral healer is that we now know that Western medicine and the spiritual medicine is now integrating with each other, and it is becoming a model. And so the 4 pillars, it goes into real depth, which will take a long time to discuss within the time frame that we have. but we're going to talk about it briefly, is the model that can be directly applied now to modern healthcare and appropriate application of technology and diverse and complex societal environments, which we all are integrated with. So it's the evolution of holistic healing in modern medicine. Isn't that amazing that modern medicine is now recognizing that spiritual healing modalities do work along with Western medicines? So let's go to the next one. According to Duffy's research article, unfortunately, there's very little exploration into the characteristics and personal and the spiritual development of the healer themselves. So that's interesting. If anyone's ever interested in writing or doing a research article and submitting it for publication, that would be an excellent avenue to go down, is to find out that. Here are the 5 of the many influences on personal health. Did you go too far? Let me see.
There isn't another one in between those two.
Oh, Jesus. What comes after this one? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's the one I wanted. We'll go back to that other one later. Okay, so healers are called to, I'm working from my iPad, so it's really weird working with an iPad and creating this presentation. So healers are called, as a healer, and you all know this, that it's not that you chose to be a healer and woke up one morning and said, oh, I'm going to be a healer, or I'm going to, yes, maybe you were in college and so I'm going to be a doctor. Well, that's, more of a professional avenue that maybe you've chosen, or I want to be a social worker. But somewhere deep inside, you're also, as a social worker and as a doctor or a spiritual healer, you've been called to do that. And healers experience their work as a calling and not something that we're identified by. A calling is a transcendent summons originated beyond our own selves. It is a life role oriented towards demonstrating or deriving a sense of purpose or meaningfulness from within ourselves. Healers hold values and goals as primary sources of motivation. Our mission as a calling is motivated by clear understanding of our intentions, our relationship to those we serve, the nature of the knowledge that we have garnered through our training and life experience. As a calling, healing is a service to the greater evolutionary impulse towards healing. How many here in the room can relate to this? Just raise your hand, say, I understand. Nod your head. All right, let's go to the next and see if I did the right one for the next one. Hopefully I did. Okay, so the 4 pillars. First one is compassion. As a healer, we know that compassion is a very strong component to be a healer. But what we forget sometimes is to be compassionate to ourselves. So as I speak to you today about these 4 pillars and lifestyles, I'm also remembering what I need to do as well. So a Buddhist definition of compassion is defined as an intention to support the happiness of self and others. Compassion is the most important and the first necessary foundation for healing practice. Compassion is our North Star. Feeling the suffering of others with a commitment to relieve it. We're motivated by the shared experience of suffering. The healer is strongly motivated to develop skills necessary to relieve the suffering. We're also motivated to be of service when we see people suffering in a place where we once were. The integral healer manifests a generosity of spirit, shaped by loving kindness and not by the self-centeredness or financial gain. So we know that to be a healer, we're not going to be making lots of money doing it. That's not what motivates us. And it's not motivated by our own egos. The next one is wisdom. Should be. Sri Aurobindo was one of the teachers that the California Institute of Integral Studies mission was based on. And in the wisdom, he indicates, and yet we only know how each loss of one's viewpoint is a progress and how life changes when one passes from the stage of the closed truth to the stage of because it embraces every point of view. A truth great enough to deny itself and the open truth. A truth like itself, too great to be trapped by points of view, passed endlessly into a higher truth. As an elder, growing up, as an elder, when I was younger, it was all about what I believe in and my truth. And as an elder, as I grew older and, going through many ceremonies and self-growth and exploration, I began to realize that there's so many truths out there. And to acknowledge, not necessarily that I have to believe in those truths that are being told, but to acknowledge that they have an existence and to walk in the path of my own truth, and through my own philosophy. So I think what he says here, that all truths in the end goes into a higher truth. So wisdom carries other meanings. Let's go back on. So wisdom carries other meanings, which also includes intelligence or your knowledge, right? We use sound judgment along with the ability to separate inner qualities and relationships. We must use a good sense and course of action to form a positive attitude. We must remember, and this is one of the biggest one, is to listen and use wisdom that has been provided by our elders, tribal leadership, and other spiritual leaders. We must also remember that wisdom comes in all shapes and sizes. And wisdom, one more point, wisdom for me is also acquired by my experiences in life. And hopefully I can gain some wisdom with the lessons that have been brought to me in my life. Okay. So because healers are now integrating with Western medicine, competence is going to be very important to work as a healer within Western medicine. On the technical end, on the history of the patient, medical terminology, along with your own intuition, along with your spiritual guides that come to you, along with your own spiritual tools that you use for your healing practice. So all healing traditions require that their practitioners master certain clinical skills. The modern healer must also master scientific fact, technical skills to perform complex procedures, and setting aside yourself as a social actor. And the last pillar, I believe, is self-cultivation. In order to be as skillful as a healer, we need to start with ourselves. We are your own patient who continuously explores and works on defining your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And there are 5 different points that I want to go through. Lifestyle, nutrition, family history, mind and body, and your spirituality. You go to the next one, please. Here's some questions for self-exploration. And you can write these down if you'd like. And we do have some time for people to maybe want to share if any of these questions come that you would like to talk about real quick. What activities do you love to do? Do you take the time to do those activities? Describe your ideal physical activity and how it would fit into your lifestyle. Are there any habits that you would like to change? That's a big one. Mine is worry. Sometimes I worry. Anyone would like to share real quick? Don't be shy. Do I have to choose somebody?
You might.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
That was wonderful. Is wonderful. As I was going through this and listening to you and to all of the other healers, I was really asking myself, do I think of myself as a healer, or how do I heal, and things, and what is it that I really love to do? And I think if I were to have my druthers and get exactly what I wanted, what I dare to pray for is just the time to spend on my creativity, to just make art. It gives me such incredible joy, and it is so close to the divine because it is creativity, which is the kind of like the antidote or the opposite of destruction and violence. It's just so close to the force of life. And because you're an artist, how good it feels. But anyway, that was what I was thinking.
What I've seen in my lifetime, a true healer never says and comes out, well, I'm a healer. And I can, when I talk about you being a healer, you're probably going, oh, you know, a lot of us are like, no, just remember, you're called, and you're called to be a healer. And I really, really feel that every one of us inherent has the capacity to heal. If not others, themselves. So, and art, yes, for me, Anita, art is what is one of my choosing lifestyles, to take away everything that needs to get out of, from me, my worry, all of it. So let's go to the next one. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Nutrition. Look at that big pizza pie that I put there. That's a New York pizza. I'm from New York City, born and raised, so I had to put that picture there. Not to eat every day, but once in a while is okay. It's okay to eat some good foods that you like, especially if your body's saying, I want to eat a pizza tonight. That's a good one. That's a good pizza. Okay, what is your relationship with food? Do you eat when you're emotional? Do you eat when you're angry? Things like that need to be looked at. How many servings of vegetables and fruits do you eat a day? Oh my God, that's like the big one for me. Are there foods you crave and eat a lot of? Chocolate. I don't know if that's considered a food, huh? And how much caffeine do you consume each day? So nutrition is very important to look at, to take care of ourselves as well. That pizza looks really good. Okay, let's go to next. Your family history. Are there any diseases that run in your family that you need to watch out to look for, that could be possibly passed down genetically to you as well, and what you need to take care of for yourself? My mom was a diabetic, and I believe that this diabetes started because back in the 70s, the doctors, she was always on a weight loss regime when I was growing up. And back then, I believe it was the 60s, late 60s, the doctors were just throwing out amphetamines, barbiturates, water, those water pills, all kinds of things. So my mother's body was always fluctuating and taking these pills, and then stop taking them after a while, and then she would gain weight and go back again. So it was always up and down, up and down. And I believe that's what created the diabetes within her. So watching her going, and she passed away because of heart problems due to the diabetes, and watching her going through this time of her life with this disease made me very aware of my nutrition, not to eat certain foods, always to try to maintain a balanced diet and exercise. So these are things that, personally, family history is important as being a healer. Mind and body. List the people whom you love and care for deeply in your life. What can you do to help these relationships grow? Do we call your friends, maybe one or two friends each day, in the morning after your meditation or your prayers in the morning, just to say hello, FaceTime, Zooming? Just seems like this COVID has, for me, it's like my life has gotten even busier for some reason. I don't know about you all, but for me, it's like my life, my time is just always doing something, always busy, and it's crazy. And I try to I do make time to call my friends. So think of a relationship that has been strained or where you've been hurt, what can you do to resolve these feelings within you? I'm not saying, to go back to a relationship that may not even be able to be mended and try to mend it. But what can be done is to try to mend the hurt feelings within yourself. Okay. What are the 3 top sources of stress in your life? I say children. My children. Are there events that have created a lot of emotions within you that you feel haven't been expressed or fully expressed? And lastly, what do you do to wind down and relax? Epsom salts, go get a massage, go down to the river, put your feet in the grass, lay down on the grass and look up at the sky, go out at night and look at the moon and the stars. What are things that you like to do to wind down and relax? Norma Johnson, I'm going to ask you.
Nature is a big one for me. I've got to get out and touch the earth and be with trees and the critters and the sky, and that's a big source for me. But also dancing and like moving my body to music. Yeah, all of those things.
I like to dance when I'm cleaning the house. Since I can't go dancing outside and go anywhere dancing, I just put on the music and take the broom and the mop and let's do it. Thank you, Norma. Anyone else? What do you do to wind down and relax?
Sometimes it doesn't help me wind down and relax. But usually I go for a run, and I run on trails. So I'm out in the trees and on the dirt, and I can smell the plants. And then I come home and I take a nice shower, and then I feel very relaxed.
So you're moving your body to move that energy flow throughout your body.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. Kendall Ramirez. Hey, I want to hear your voices.
Hi. So I was just thinking, what do I do to wind down and relax besides fall asleep at night? I like to just sit and listen to my kids. I have 3 kids, and they tell me about their day and just kind of see life through their eyes. It takes me away from work and, single parent responsibilities. But then on the weekend, when I have more time, I like to go for a walk or a hike. But yeah, just listening to my kids put things in perspective.
That's sweet. Thank you. 3 children. That's a big one. And single mom. That's blessings to you, Kendall. I've been there. Let's see who else is there. King Mas Daniel. I don't know if Daniel he's on mute. I like his Daniel. What do you do to wind down and relax? ¿Dónde está Daniel? There you are. Hi, Daniel. Buenos días. You're on mute. There you go. Gracias. You're still on mute. There you go.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Well, it's really nice to be sitting outside like this, which is actually one thing I do to relax and wind down. But there's a glare on my screen, so I can't even see where it says mute or unmute. But I meditate on a regular basis, which really helps a lot. We've picked up a new tradition in our house here. Um, we don't really know each other that well, but I have with Betty a retreat and training center, and we haven't had any retreats here for about a year. And so it's very different to have all this space and to be surrounded by all this natural beauty and not be able to share it with people. So we've been doing an afternoon toast and inviting different friends to participate. And in that toast, we are grateful primarily. We talk about things that we're grateful for. And sometimes we toast people who are in need, like having health issues. And afterwards, I feel more connected and more relaxed. So those are a couple of things I do.
I met you at St. James about 2 years ago. Yeah, I know, and I'm sorry that you had a lot of people coming to visit your home and your programs, and now, but we're praying that it's all going to come back. Hopefully next year. Yeah,
I don't know.
we just keep doing the work.
Well, it may come back and it may not, but it will evolve into something really good. We know that.
This
But
is true.
we're exactly what it will be. We're just kind of feeling it out, playing it by ear, listening to people. In that way, too, we stay connected. So.
Yeah, and I really like that we have this platform called Zoom to stay connected this way. And in organizations like Native Roots and the Healing and Reconciliation Institute to do it that way, to keep us together like this. And thank you. Concha, you got to see Alan. What about you? What do you do to wind down and relax? Buenos días.
Buenos días, buenas tardes.
Tardes.
I was really thinking about it. I love my community of danza, Azteca. And that's, to me, when I'm with my community of danza, I love to dance in any form, whether it's Motown or Danza Azteca. I love to dance. I don't really do a lot of cooking these days, but when I get in the mood, I love to cook, and it's a really important aspect of my life. Cooking as I did for my children when they were growing up, or now even for myself or for my relatives that come. So cooking, my traditional food, I just love, and then watching, of course, my relatives eat, or just enjoying it myself. Just that slow down and taste it, and because there was traumatic events in my life when I was young where I was separated for a few years from my food, and when I reunited with my mother, it was like, oh, this is how food is supposed to taste. This is the way it's supposed to be given and offered and served, and to the dioses and myself and to family. And so food is really an important luxury, gift, swimming, I love to swim. Being in the water, so those are the ways I like to wind down and relax.
Thank you for sharing that. Very deep and heartfelt. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
How food can be so more than just nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for feeling safe to be in this room to share that with us. I appreciate that. Gracias.
Gracias.
I'm going to pick someone else. Let's see. Jana, too. Are you here with us? I see you. Jana, too.
I am here. Hi.
Hi.
So much for
Look at that. Oh, I want to jump in that ocean right now.
that's the Colorado River.
Oh, the river. Wow, that's beautiful.
I'm really appreciating just getting to reflect on what you're saying. Those 4 pillars provide lots of food for thought. So for me, the nature and music are my 2 sure things. And I love to hike, but I realized just sitting, the ditch was running yesterday, and I was working really hard with a pickaxe and some base course. And I'd work for like 5 minutes and just be exhausted and go sit under the cottonwoods by the ditch. And it was wonderful. So, yeah.
Got to take care of your body. I mean, pickaxing and digging, that's a lot of strenuous work on your body.
Norma took us through some stretches earlier today that were just the ticket. So,
Right? Oh. Let's see who else is with us that we didn't. Anyone else? Did we get Anita? Tell us what you do to wind down. I know you're an artist and you love to paint amazing pieces. What else do you do besides?
Well, that's my real go-to. Right now, I'm painting a landscape of aspen trees, a long, narrow landscape, and in the sky are the aspen trees, and in the foreground, in shadow, is a fawn and a fox, but I have hidden them in the vegetation and in the spots of sunlight that come through, so you don't see them at first. I love to do that. And then I love to cook. If I'm upset, I'll go downtown and I'll buy enough food to feed a damn army. Thank God I have a freezer. And I'll come home and I'll make these huge casseroles. I just, enough casseroles and soups and salads all at once. And then I freeze it so that then I can gorge on painting and don't have to stop and cook. And then
that's a great idea.
And then just sticking my hands in the dirt, not even doing anything, but it's like a sudden sort of spiritual first aid. It's just go stick your fingers in the dirt and feel, Mother Earth filling you up.
That reminds me of my grandson, who's a year and 4 months, and when he plays out in the yard, he puts his hands into the dirt and just grabs it and squeezes it and then lets it drop, and then he'll put his hands again, and then he'll put it on his clothes and on his head, and kind of reminded me of that when you were talking.
Oh, that's a much better way. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, we should all go out there and just put dig our hands in the dirt and rub it all over us.
Oh, he's got it down.
He does. He does. And is Anna still with us? Anna, I'd like to hear from Anna. If she's still here. Anna. Mr. Anna Chavez. Did she leave the room? Yeah, I think. Oh, well. Let's go to the next, the big one. Spirituality. So many definitions about what spirituality is. And here's one of them. And spirituality is about helping people to ask questions and not provide answers. I find that when people who have come for help and I give them the answers, those answers are not really listened to or not really heard or felt. But when I ask them questions, it reminds them that they already have the answers of what they, not that they already, they may already have the answers to help themselves. So what aspects of your spiritual practice do you find most helpful? How do your beliefs affect the kind of healing you would like to practice? How do you feel about your comment about what I just said about asking questions versus you as a healer providing the answers?
Pegó right on. Así leo las barajas. People always know how to read their cards. All you have to do is lay out a little trail of crumbs and let them find the crumbs. Don't even tell them where they are. Just say, oh, look over there. See anything? The best therapy is just bearing witness and protecting, I guess, the space so that people can find the answers that they already know. Just like remembering our healing practices, like Atta says. It's a process of remembering. So that's really right on there. Thank you for that. That's really good. Cool.
Yeah. And, I was just talking to Amaya about that before we all came on to Zoom, was that the classes that I teach in sacred ceremony, classes that I teach at the University of New Mexico, and also, when people come to see me, and it's not just for them, but it's also for me as I speak, is to remember who you are. To remember that we are spiritual beings, that we all carry a light within us. And it is our responsibility to keep that light shining and to keep it growing and to share it. Because if we don't share our wisdom, it will get lost. So remembering is thank you, Anita, for saying that, to remember. Anyone else have a comment about asking questions versus providing the answers?
Miriam, I feel like one of the things that I've learned, this is Maya, about asking questions is that a beautiful and gorgeous question, one question, might be all that is need to be said. And that I I admire the efficiency of that too for the healers and that have taken the time to give so much, and that an artful question can be a powerful tool of your healing.
Yeah, just one powerful question. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next one. Creating a centering practice into your lifestyle. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Can be very helpful to get our minds out of the chaos of life. A regular practice can help us become less reactive to stress. With a regular practice, we can learn to be in the middle of the chaos and then stay calm within ourselves. Yeah, I don't find myself, not all the time, but most of the time, being less reactive, you know. And you know what's going on in these days, that, you know, we can become or be pushed to be reactive. So holding a practice in your lifestyle can help you be more responsive versus reactive. Okay, let's go to the next one. So your practices, and I'm sure we all are doing this, but I'm reminding you to keep doing it, to keep working at it. Meditation, your breath work, your prayer, your art. Art can be anything. Doesn't have to be painting. It could be building. It could be gardening. It could be writing. Okay, exercising. All of this allows you to move the energy through your bodies, to renew those energies in your bodies. When you help yourself, you're helping me, and you're helping all those that you touch. Let's go to the next one. As a healer, we embrace the full spectrum of the human experience. As a healer, we are very empathic. We feel what's going on. You may have your intuition can be very heightened, and you can sense things that other people may not be able to sense. So what this statement is feels so true to me is that as a healer, we embrace the full spectrum of the human experience within ourselves and sometimes within other people as well. So at the end of the day, today and tomorrow and so on, at the end of your day, may you rest your mind and body. Today you did the best that you could, and tomorrow you begin again to be better than yesterday. I want to thank you for being here in the room with me. I'm very humbled, and I feel blessed to have this opportunity to present what I'm feeling about what it is to be a healer, and to give, hopefully I gave you some kind of support to remind you, because we expend a lot of energy trying to help our families and our communities and other loved ones, that we forget about ourselves. And I don't want you to get sick. You know, I pray that everyone remains healthy and takes care of themselves in mind, body, and spirit. So I pray that you all will continue to do the good work that you're doing, that the love that you have for your community will be felt to each and every one that you touch. I say in the Ojibwe language, Chimigwich, which means thank you. My spirit sees your spirit. And I would say Ashe. Thank you.